Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. Saratoga is underway, and so is Del Mar. And we'll go up to upstate New York for our Keeneland Select In the Money podcast races today. A couple of graded stakes up there. There will be a bunch of those at the speed. So we'll take a look at those and give you a late pick 4 play as well. It starts in the 8th race. But first stake is in the 9th, the Grade 3 Sanford for 2-year-olds. And you got some horses that have run here in Kentucky impressively that are in the mix. Who did you land on?
Well, of course I landed on a Kentucky horse. You would think that I would. I landed on Direct Dial here. I thought that race that he ran back on the 26th of April at Keeneland, maiden special weight, was really impressive. He wasn't a surprise that day. And Asmussen first-time starter at 3-5, but ran 51-3 and won by 7 3/4. I don't know how tough that race was because the horses that came back below him, I don't think anybody's come back and won. But then they put him in a stakes race at Belmont in the Tremont, the $150,000 race, and he had to lead at the half-mile pole and got beat by 3 1/4 by He Hate Me. Admiral Jimmy also came out of that race, who's a Pletcher horse, so I'm going to say he's got a real shot here for Pletcher and Castellano. But Direct Dial would be my pick, maybe a little bit of home court prejudice that he ran so well at Keeneland, but if he runs back to that, it's going to be, it's going to be tough to beat him. Having said that, you've got some unknowns in here. You've got Bal Harbor for Velasquez and Pletcher. You've got Psychoanalyze for Brian Lynch. It's a very evenly matched field, and when we start talking about the pick 4, I'm going to go deep in here. Asmussen Baffin was very impressive at Churchill, won by 4.5, and really easily went off even money. So they jumped these horses up off just a maiden win or maybe one more race in a minor stakes, and they're going for a Grade 3 here. It's going to be a great race, just like Saratoga always is. I'm so excited about this time of year anyway. But Direct Dial is my pick here, the 7 horse for Asmussen and Jose Ortiz.
This is a race with a lot of strong contenders, and like you said, it's going to be a lot of those kinds of races up there. I ended up going to Free Drop Billy. I watched this horse the day he ran at Churchill, and I thought he was really impressive. Didn't get hammered, but got bet down that day. I think he went off at 5-1, but I think he was a considerably higher price, so he was bet. And they sent him up and got to work over the Saratoga track, which I like to see. So Romans had some strong 2-year-olds at the Churchill meet from the Albaugh stable, one of his main clients, and I thought this was the best one, and this is the one they put into the Sanford. So I'm going to take Free Drop Billy. Use the 2 Pletchers with him. I'm from the Asmussen barn. I ended up not using Direct Dial just to avoid going too deep on my ticket. I certainly could be talked into him. The other one I liked was Ferenz Fire. And the reason is Jason Service has got great numbers, and this is a horse that ran well at Monmouth, got a mediocre speed figure, but I've seen in recent years several times these horses, young horses, come over from Monmouth after mediocre speed figures and win these 2-year-old races at Saratoga. So I'm going to throw that one in there for that particular angle. But my win pick is Free Drop Billy. 10th race, the Grade 1 Diana, and I ended up taking Lady Eli in here. I thought her last race, 104 Buyer Fig and winning the Grade 1 Gamely out west, suggests to me that she is back to her top form. When she's at her best, she is just really hard to beat. I think she likes Saratoga, and she's working well, which was also encouraging. So for those reasons, I'm going to take her, but there's no value with her. I think the potential value might be with a horse called Quidura, the 4. Wasn't beaten much by Lady Eli and Dickinson in the Jenny Wiley at Keeneland. Had a little layoff, came back and had a lifetime best figure last time out in a Grade 2 at Belmont. So second off that layoff, off that nice speed figure, I'm going to take that one and hope I could get a 3-4 exacta box to come in and pay a little better. I'll use Dickinson a little bit too. I'm going to take a stand against Antoneau. First time going 1 1/8, picking up a lot of weight. So I'm going to hope they bet Antoneau heavily, and I can get maybe a good exacta with Lady Eli Quidura in the Diana. How about you?
Lady Eli is the logical pick, but she's going to be 3-5 or 4-5, and if she runs back to the Gamely at Santa Anita, she's probably going to win the race. And she's only a head and a nose away from winning 4 Grade 1s in a row, starting with the Flower Bowl last year at Belmont. She's the best older mare in the country, and if she runs a race, she's going to win. But I think there's a couple other horses here that could upset her. I have no qualms with you picking Kudura, but I think Dickinson, off the race she ran in the Jenny Wiley and then came back, got beat by 3/4 of a length by Antono in the Just a Game off a 2-month layoff. She's certainly the race she ran here at Keeneland was so impressive. I think she's got a shot. She beat Lady Eli that day. She'll be a much better price. And I do like Antono. I think she improved so much last time out, coming from an allowance race at Keeneland to the Just a Game and winning that Grade 1. She does pick up weight. She is up against it, but she's very lightly raced. And Chad Brown is, he's magic. So I'm going to use those three in the pick 4, but Lady Eli is my pick. I just don't like the.
All right, let's talk about the late pick 4. It starts in the 8th race, and the problem with doing pick 4 tickets at Saratoga is that it's hard to narrow down a ticket. What did you do?
Well, I narrowed it down, but I'm going to give everybody some options. First race, went 4 deep, and my top pick is Volatility. I was told myself I was going to pronounce that well, but it's hard to say. Volatility Index, Chad Brown, Castellano. The horse is a neck away from being undefeated. Did everything they asked her to do at Belmont, and had time to recover off that last race. So I think she's going to be the favorite. But I'm also going to use Price to Perfection, the 5 for Graham Motion. This horse has been off since September of 16, and Chad Brown had her before, but Graham Motion can get a horse ready off a layoff and 25% first time with a trainer, so that's a nice statistic as well. He's Priced to Perfection. And then I'm going to use, it's kind of odd in here, I was handicapping these races last night, and my wife's mother, who I love dearly, his name's Stella, so I got to use the 2 Stella horses in here. I have no idea what the 6 horse's first name is, but I guess it's Gioia Stella for Christophe Clement.
We'll go with that.
I have no idea, but it's a Stella horse. So last race was a off the turfer that you can just toss, and before that, she fits very well with her speed numbers in here. And probably one of my top choices here, Stella Rose on the outside, the 10 horse for Rosario and Christophe Clement, is really in good form right now. She fits well. She had a nice tune-up at Belmont. She's coming off a 6-month layoff and ran a 91 buyer, got beat in an allowance race, and she probably needed that race. So I'm going to go 1, 5, 6, 10 in here. And then in the 8th, the 9th, the Sanford, you and I disagreed on our horses, but I think you make a case for all of them. So I'm going to hit the all button. There's only 8 horses in here, and I don't think you can really toss anyone with any confidence. So I'm going to use all 8 here. I'm going to run out of money real quick, though. Lady Eli, the 3, Antono, the 2, and Dickinson, the 6 in the Sanford. And then I'm going to single the 11th race, which is a claimer on the inner turf. I'm going to take the 12 Shalaco for Chris Englehart, 2 for 2 at Saratoga. An off-the-turf effort last time. Again, you can scratch it, and then you go back, and you can't find a bad race that he's run in the last year. So I love a horse that loves Saratoga. So I'm going to take a stand with Shalaco, and I think that's not too bad a ticket. It's 4 horses by 8 by 3, so that's half. That's $48. If you have to go deeper in that last race, Shalaco would be my top pick, but the 8 horse Super Fast would be my second pick for David Jacobson. So I'm going to single the last leg and go deep in the middle.
In the first leg, I'm on most of the same ones you're on. I'm going to take both Chad Browns, Volatility Index and Penjade, Price to Perfection, Stella Rose, who I probably, if she had a better post, would be my win pick. I'm going to also throw in Browse, the 7, a bullet work for Shug McGahee, and he goes to Johnny Velasquez here, who is really good at Saratoga, and Shug and Johnny V teaming up with a bullet work. I'll kick myself if Browse wins, and I don't have her on my ticket. So I'm going to go 5 deep there. I'm going to go with the 5 I mentioned in the Sanford. If your budget allows, then I would add Direct Dial. And really, if you're getting to that point, you're at 6, you ought to just take all if your budget can allow it. But I'm going to go with the 5 I mentioned. So I'm 5 by 5. I'm going to single Lady Eli because I want to go 5 deep in the last leg. I like your horse, Shalaco, but I'm not wild about the post. So I'm also going to use Blarp and High Noon Rider for Joe Sharp and Mike Maker coming out of Kentucky. And then you got several horses in there that were claimed. And that's surprising. You got guys that claim horses at the end of the Belmont meet to run at Saratoga. But Rudy Rodriguez and Robertino Diodoro are true, very sharp claiming trainers, and they've got the 1 and the 3, respectively, Mills and Chiltern Street. So I want to have all 5 of those in the last leg. So I'm going to single Lady Eli. So I'm 5 by 5 by 1 by 5. And again, if your budget allows, just hit the all button in that second leg to feel good about the Sanford. But I'm not wild about singling Lady Eli, but ticket gets real expensive quickly with those others that I want if I don't do that. So I'm going to take my stand with her. Any special promotions going on for Del Mar Saratoga for Keeneland Select or simulcast customers?
Not anything special as far as the hit and split on the pick 4 like we always do on the podcast. But Del Mar and Saratoga is great racing, and unfortunately, due to the Kentucky rules where Ellis Park has to negotiate for all the tracks in Kentucky, and they can't come to an agreement, Del Mar is not available at Red Mile to wager on it, as just Gulfstream and Laurel. Any of the Stronach tracks are not available right now. So, if you're listening to this and you're thinking of coming to Red Mile and betting on at our place, you can't do it. You can come out here and watch it. We'll have it on TVG, and you can bet on Keeneland Select because it does not affect the ADWs. But we hope to have a big weekend, and Saratoga and Del Mar is always the best part of the summer, and there's some great races coming up. Arrogate is running on Saturday at Santa Anita, so you might want to watch that if you want to bet him at 1-9. But he's got 5 horses running against him in the San Diego handicap, so he's coming back, and then he'll probably run the Pacific Classic and then the Breeders' Cup. So he'll be at Del Mar all summer.
Well, best of luck with your weekend wagers, whether you're playing Del Mar or Saratoga. And you can play Del Mar through Keeneland Select, so you can play it that way. And then there's a nice stake down at Ellis, the Don Bernhardt. Big field there, and I don't think there's a standout. There's a horse, the 6 Polo Art, that comes off a big 17 debut that I think's got a shot, and it's 12-1 on the morning line. So you might want to take a look at that one. Best of luck with your wagers. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.